Have you got a big blue screen with writing on it?
Yeah, we're good, man.
Right. Okay. Good. Now this is gonna. When I said I would do this, I said Cumbria initially, and then I looked at what I'd already got prepared, and it was obviously there's going to be too much to do in one talk, so I've put it into two parts. The first part is just the minerals and mines of the Caldbeck Fells, and even this will be in two parts because I've got to go halfway through. The file was just too big, so I've had to split it into two. So I think this is just basically a little bit of information about the area. From the village of Caldbeck in the north, just north of the town of Keswick in the south, from Bassenthwaite in the west, to the western edge of the Eden Valley. And they say, well, I've worked out about 77 square kilometres, 47 miles. The actual bit of the Caldbecks that self where all the mining takes place is about 24 square kilometres. There's 52 named minerals and 224 mines, 224 valid minerals, and one type locality, silver gill for red gillite. Basically, that's where we are in the world, and that little circle there is the Caldbeck Fells. Just a little bit nearer to it, so you can see that area just in and around. It's south of Carlisle, just north of Keswick, and this side is the coast, and this side is the Pennines go up through the middle there. So it's the Eden Valley runs, the River Eden runs through the middle of it all, north to south. A little bit of the geology of it. The left-hand one is where all the veins and the faults are. So we talk around the area. Basically, we start in the middle of Roughton Gill, which is somewhere in, can't see it. Yeah, there, Roughton Gill. For some reason, the veins there are slightly off centre. These two veins running down, and but the geology of it is that this lot is all carboniferous limestone. And you've got these intrusions of granite that come up at different times, and there's a big contact here at Carrock, and we see all this lot here combining together. So you've got several different mineral lodes all joining together here, and that's where the main mineralization was taking place. There, Roughton Gill, and a few more places scattered around. That's the. That's better. I've got a thing on. That's better. There's the main part. So there's Keswick, and Caldbeck is up there, Cockermouth this side, and the Eden Valley runs up here. This ring around here is where all the mining has taken place on, and in the middle. And the next picture should show you a list of all the areas that are named on MinDat as coming as areas where the mines are from that area. I've transposed all the locations onto this map to show the area we collected. This is the map that the Lake District National Park put out when we got banned from collecting. For those who don't know the story, up until about 1998, we were allowed to collect anywhere on the Caldbeck Fells. Didn't need permission. Went where we liked, collected what we liked. Around 97, 98, a dealer, someone from the National Park went to a mineral show and saw a whole table of pyramorphite, mimetite from Roughton Gill on a dealer's table at huge, fantastic prices. Went back and looked at the hillside, and the hillside had been more or less raped of all the minerals. And they put a blanket ban on it, which lasted for about 2006. No, 2005. And then we gradually got the permission back. And the areas you see now, all the green is where you can collect. The yellow is where you need permission. And the red ones are areas where you can only collect, only professionals can go in and collect from. And then they need to do proper write-ups on the area. So that's where we're at. I've started in the middle at Roughton Gill. You walk in from, there's a place here called Fellside, and you walk up here, so it's 1, 2, 3, nearly 4 kilometres walk into Roughton Gill. Again, it's red, so you aren't allowed to collect. You follow this track up here, it follows the river up. This one here is Red Gill, which I'll get to in a minute or two. So there's the Roughton Gill Mine, and the complex of mines around this hillside. There's about 6 or 7 different mines in the area, and I've lumped all this first lot into this one. This was taken about 10 days ago when I was up there, and it's looking out through Roughton Gill from just off from the Caldbeck Common. So here you've got Roughton Gill running up the middle here, and then you've got High Pike, Low Pike, Ingrey Gill, and then the mines are in an area around this part just here. The next one, well, most are sensitive. I think I used the button. Again, you've got this is High Pike up on the side, Low Pike. There's mines and little outcrops and trials in the middle of this. Over this side is Sandbed, and Pottsgill runs up here. This is Ingrey Gill. I've only ever found that there was a mine somewhere in this area up on Ingrey Gill, and we found the entrance to the mine. It had all gone in, and I found one rock in the stream which had pyramorphite in and nothing else. So I haven't done an awful lot. There's one picture of that in a minute. This is in 2005. We had a club trip up there with permission. So we start off from Fellside and walk up the track. As I said, about an hour, about an hour's walk up, and you come past these different little spots. There's a smelter. I can't see it on this, but the Haygill smelter is somewhere around here. And as you come further in to it, the dumps get more and more into view. And you got this area up here is Silvergill and Ballyway Rig. And around the top, this side is the Barstow's Trench up on higher Roughton Gill, Mexico Mine, Todd Gill, and Mexico, all in this area around this side. The main dumps at Roughton Gill are all these. You see, it's a bit of a misty day up there on this day in this was, I think it was May 2000 or July 2005. This is the stream, and we had permission to actually walk this stream and collect. And a couple of photographs I'm going to show in a minute came out of the stream a bit further down the valley. But again, this is the waterfall up here coming down from up from where Silvergill is. This is the waterboard hut. There's some sort of pumping station underneath this, but the big dumps. These are the huge dumps all around it. And as you pan round, there's just everywhere you look, there's dumps. Some of them have got material on that we're banned from collecting, so we can't go there anymore. Again, another look up the valley. There's all paths and tracks going up through to all the older dumps. Back down the valley, it's the area. This lot all gets when you get a big storm in northern England, it washes these valleys down, and all this material is washed down this river. There's the waterfall at Roughton Gill, and that's the first mineral in this particular sequence. Chrysocolla, Richard Bell specimen and photograph. This is one of the ones from that stream I found, a big boulder of, it comes from Iron Crags, I would think originally, and within this you get pyramorphite. Hemimorphite, another Richard Bell specimen. Hemimorphite and Chrysocolla, Richard Bell specimen and photograph. Lepidocrocite. Now, this is not my picture, I'm not sure where I got it from, but it was on a presentation I did a few years back to the German group we took up there, and I've kept it in. I've not seen it myself up there, but it's up there apparently. The old favourite one, the plumbo gumite with mimetite on it. Linerite, Richard Bell specimen and photograph. Pyramorphite, Roughton Gill, Richard Bell specimen and photograph. That's my pyramorphite in this black stuff, in the black earthite. And it was a boulder about twice this, but you sort of put your fist together, and it's about that sort of size. I broke it up, this is all inside the middle of it. This is one from Ballyway Rig, which is higher up on the right-hand side as you go up. That one is the Ingrey Gill one. As I said, I had one lump of rock and I got about 30 specimens out of it. And that's the only thing I found from that particular location. This is another one, Todd Gill, which is another one of the little subsidiary dumps as you go up to the left-hand side of the gill. When you get to Roughton Gill, there's all dumps as you go up, and this is from them. Rosasite from Roughton Gill. I'm not sure whose photograph. That's not mine. That's not Richard's. Come on. This one is a bit of a mystery. Richard, do you want to tell the story of this one? No. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. This is a specimen of Waldridgeites from Roughton Gill. Unfortunately, it's man-made because it was the specimen it was on was cleaned in a certain detergent from Unilever. Well, back in the 80s, and it contained phosphorus. And this is a pentaphosphate, copper pentaphosphate. And unfortunately, it's not real. It's not a real mineral.
Looks nice.
As I believe, are none of the other ones that are in circulation at the moment.
Okay, lovely. Thank you.
Yep. Okay.
A wolfenite from Todd Gill. They also come in red. I couldn't find one to photograph at the moment, so maybe another time. The next one is Red Gill Mine. As I said, it's on the same track, so we normally go up there first, or we used to have a look. Again, you can't collect on it at the moment; it's banned. But it's a hill. Now I don't know if it's 3 or 4, but there's certainly an adit level down here which is always flooded. And then we used to go and dig one of these higher ones. I think probably this one. You used to dig your way into this one, and then there's a drop into a level where all the lignorites and all the main minerals came from. I've not been in it. I was always a bit on the fat side to get in the hole. I believe Richard's been in it. I don't know.
Yep.
Yeah.
That one and the one below.
Yeah. So this is another Richard specimen, the acanthite from Red Gill. Anglesite. I apologise for not putting any chemical formula on these. I don't normally do it, and I ran out of time, so there's nothing on any of these. But they're all pretty common minerals, most of the stuff we have anyway. So, but a selection of different cerasites. That's one of my specimens that I bought off Trevor Willoxall about 1979, 78. He had the other half, and I've got this one, and it's a linorite with Chrysochala, a hand specimen. Linorite again, beautiful linorites from there. And then you get obviously the Caledonite, which are really pretty specimens. They're all Richard's photographs. I put them together, Richard, to save some space. Again, Caledonite. Lovely crystals. Leadhillite, hexagonal plates in different forms. Malachite, two sorts of malachite in this presentation. You do get more, but it's a matter of finding everything. The really small stuff is this headolite. Now that's not my specimen. I don't know whose specimen it is, but normally they're very tiny. The field of view normally is about less than a millimetre on this stuff, and you get several sprays of crystals within that area. So they are very small crystals. Queertite with Susanite in stacked arrangement. Again, Queertite and Susanite, again with a similar formation. And then silver. Native silver, Richard Bell specimen and photograph. And then this Susanite. and then the last to Zanite, and I think we're on the next one. So then we come back down around to Potskill. To get to Potskill, you park in this village of Nether Row, and you walk up this track, and it's uphill all the way to there, and then there's Potskill. And if you carry on up this track, you come up to Low Pike, and in the same area, you've got the Deer Hills. There's a complex of collecting in there, but for now, we're at Potskill. And Potskill that's looking down from Potskill from Low Pike. So we've parked in the village down here and walked up this little lot. The Potskill dumps, the main dumps, are these big ones as you come up, and then you got the Deer Hill trials, and the other ones are up on this hillside here, up here off the shop. But these are hard work, these dumps. You don't often find much in the way of good material on it. You do a lot of digging, a lot of bashing, and don't really find that much. But Richard's found a canthite, adamite, a gardite or zalacite. I've got barite. Someone that's hemimorphite. I've not found hemimorphite on that dump, but I've got it from a location on the way up. They used to have a pony track route which would carry the ore back down, and they used to come around this very sharp bend, and there must have been some of the stuff fell off. I did a little bit of a dig on the side of the track while I was getting my breath back once, and I found some blue hemimorphite like this. Ian Brucite. This one is one of mine. I think they're probably, might be sumerbite or something very similar, or adamite. They're on a barite crystal in a little cavity, all scattered around it. I don't know what they are really. It's hard to tell, these little things like this. So carrying on up the hill, you go up to Short Grain, and Short Grain we approached again up this track, and then we came up the hill this way, and we into Deer Hills, Short Grain up there, and it was just really a little trial on the side of the hill, and a very, very small dump on the outside, which has got a few bits of rock on it, and we found a few bits and pieces in it, not an awful lot, but enough to make it worthwhile having a look at. Barite from Short Grain. Caledonite, I think that's Caledonite. I sent Richard the picture, and we're pretty sure that's Caledonite. Ceresite. Another ceresite. Mimetite. And another mimetite in a sort of matte. Richard Bell pseudomalachite. Lovely specimen. This is really waxy. And so then we move across to the Low Pike dump, which is just about 300 or 400 yards away. And again, it's a very small trial on the side of a hill. There was two places, one here and one about 50 yards to the right, and very similar material on both. And again, this white quartzy material with bugs in it. That was the other trial. That's the second one, the other trial. And there's a small dump from where I'm standing, which comes off that one. From there, I've got barite again. There's lots of barite, little tiny small. There's some inclusions in it by the looks of it. Mimetite, quite nice hexagonals, and these little pointed ones. Deer Hills trial. Now this one was we were told this place back in the beginning of the 1980s, and we went up and had a look at it. And it's just a hillside exposure where some rocks had cropped out, but the actual mineral was very close to the surface. And we had a dig on it, and this is how it was in 1990, after several years of people digging on it. And the outcrop is up here on the side, and this has all come out. And this small dump here is where we found the pharmacosiderite. There's me with a little bit of hair, I think, or that might even be Richard Belson, that one. There's Bob Snowball. Mike Jackson, John Fisher. That's Richard Belson. But you see the mess that makes when you start digging in these hillsides. From there, Richard's got adamite, carmonite, kaolite, and bredantite, pseudomorphic arsenopyrite, which is a real mixture. Carmonite, cornwallite, another cornwallite, mimetite. There's quite a lot of this about in that when we first got to that exposure. It came out quite a bit of it came out of it. Nice material. Pharmacosiderite. Again. Scorodite. Next picture. Come on. Right. Next one is sandbed. Now, sandbed, you park at a place called Caldbeck Fells, which is just here, and you walk up this track. Again, it's about a 3/4 of an hour walk up, 2.5 kilometers in, and the main. When you get to the main dump, there's the dump you're aiming for, and that's the hill you've come up from, and the track winds its way around the back and back to the car park over there. That's the dump looking straight up at it, and you find material on most of these places and around to the left of it a bit more as well. Adamite, question mark, I don't know. It's these green blobs again. Barite, Baldonite. This is a Richard Belson specimen, Elite, erythrite, I beg your pardon, erythrite. He found a big boulder up there once, and I'm not sure if it's still this color or if it's gone white. Hemimorphite, linerite, mimetite. Again, that I don't know. It's that little tiny black, almost maybe duftite or something like that. It's very hard to tell on this material, on this iron. I don't know what that one is. It's an unknown one. Another one. This may just be a coloration, but it's there seems to be this could be something like cerussite or some other, maybe a mimetite, which is this is light color, which is throwing me on this one. I don't think that's scorodite, but that might be. Then you come a bit further around on the same range of hills, and you're into Driggith. Now, Driggith you can approach in two ways. You either park at the same place and walk up this route like this, or you come in, you park your car here and come up the Dry Gill route, which is this one, or you can come across from Caldbeck and you come across and then up. Or, as we did once, we went to sandbeds first, up on the top of this hill, and across the top, and then down into Gill Mine, because up here on the top, in this middle bit, there was an open cut, which in the olden days you could get nice mimetite stroke pyromorphite from, and lots of it. Really nice, good crystalline material. But the actual dumps that we were in, this is the area, well, this is the track up to the dump. And in this particular instance, this is 1979, I took this one. But this was in 2013 when we took the party from Munich up. So this is the head of the Gill, and over the top is the open cut up here, and the path this way go up to Dry Gill. This is Dry Gill in this one, up this side. The Canthite again. No, I'm not sure about this one. This is just a picture I got from somewhere. I don't know where I got this from again, but it's supposed to come from there. Caledonite, Richard Bell.
Martin?
Yeah?
That one was one of David Green's.
Was that?
Yeah.
Okay, Tap. Thank you. I have to try and give credit if I know where I got them from. I don't know where I even got them from. I found them somewhere when I was searching around.
Me.
Probably you, yeah, probably you. Caledonite again, lovely specimen. Ceresite again. Chenite, that's a real unusual one. They are rare. Very nice. Better still, Heliite. Linerite. This is a strange one. This I put it as malachite, but I don't really know if it is. It's one of my pieces, but it seems a very, very funny structure. Got sort of like 2 layers on it. Don't know what's happened to that one. But you get the mimetite. This is the mimetite pyramorphite you get from the open cut at the top. They're really lovely, waxy looking pieces. Another strange thing where it's grown and then grown again, and then altered. And that's one of the Richards, which has done mimetite on balenite. Really strange things. Philipsburgite from Driggith. That must be another David Green one then.
That's one of mine.
It's one of yours, is it? Okay. Dry Gill Mine. I've been looking at Postlethwaite tonight before I did the talk, and he doesn't mention Dry Gill Mine in his book. And he wrote his book. He done the reprint, the 3rd reprint in 1913, and Dry Gill is not mentioned in there as being on the list of locations that he got stuff from. So it must have been a fairly recent 20th century mine. But this is the famous Dry Gill where you get the orange campbellites from. On this particular day, whilst that's looking up the gill, that's looking down. On this particular day, we were up there to scatter the ashes of an American friend of ours called Larry Hauser. And his wish was that his ashes will be scattered on the black dump in Dry Gill. And we got permission to go up there in, we had four by four vehicles, and we took about 10 or 12 people up. And we had a little ceremony on the dump, on this dump here. And so Larry Hauser's ashes are scattered around on this. But this is the dump where all the campbellite comes from. And there's an adit level somewhere along this edge. I've not been in it, but other people have. That's looking down. In '87, we walked up Brandy Gill and came across the top. And as we come over this ledge and down into Dry Gill, we saw this little chap digging away on the dump. And that's me, Bob Snowball, and Mike Jackson. And we started talking to the guy, and he was obviously an American. And Mike says, "Not another bloody Yank nicking our rocks." And with that became a lifetime friendship. And for the next 20 years, Bob went backwards and forwards to America. And we, Dick and myself, went over at least 4 or 5 times. Wonderful person. That was the first piece I ever bought from that place. I got that at a show in Swiss Cottage in London in the beginning of the 80s. 5 by 4 by 1.5 centimeters. Another one I acquired from somewhere. That one I collected in 1987. From when we were up there in '87, there's actually someone that dug a pit on the hill above the black dump. And when I got into the hole, there was loads and loads of this stuff laying around, and they'd exposed the veins. So I filled my rucksack up with this stuff. It's a beautiful specimen. It's as big as your hand, nearly, that one. Mimetite in various disguises. It's pretty much a 1 or 2 mineral dump, this one, but they are really nice things. Mimetite in different shapes. And the Plumbo gumite is also famous from there. That's That's one of Richard's specimens. Lovely, lovely blue piece. And then I think I'm not sure whose that one is. That's not one of mine. And then as you come further round, you got Brandy Gill. Now for Brandy Gill, you drive up the valley of Mosedale. So the only access on you can drive up it from Mosedale up the valley, and you park here at the bottom of Carrock Mine, and you walk up Carrock and up Brandy Gill. There's one small exposure on the right about here where it's not got a name, but we did find mimetite and carmonite and things like that in it. But the Brandy Gill itself is up on the slopes up here, and it's literally, it was a level they put in to this hillside. This is all dump. There's this level at the top. We went in 87. We pulled all this lot out, dug it out, and went in it. And just myself and Mike Jackson. We left Bob Snowball outside because he was too fat to get in. And so we went inside and we got a few bits and pieces out of that. Quite nice. That was a bit of a sandy slope going down into it, and even harder to get out of it. But it produced some quite nice material, a nice mat of agardite or something very similar. That's Richard's agardite from there. Another one. Arsenopyrite. A baldonite. That's a 2.5 centimeters. That one. So I think that's a close up of that one. Another Richard Bell specimen and photograph. Another baldonite, and then a baldonite pseudomorphic mimetite. And this is the bridantite and carmonite. I think this is duftite. We aren't. I sent this to Richard to have a look at the other day, and we aren't very sure, but it looks like it might be duftite. And that I've got down as Dundersite, but there's a doubt on that one as well, but it needs to be checked out at some point. On quartz. A mimetite. Another one. This one I think is from the little cut, as I mentioned, on the right hand side as you come up it. Another one. And Micromount. Scorodite. And a Richard Bell quartz. That's this one came out of that hole in the ground. I think this is wolfenite with stolzite around the edges, or the whole piece is stolzite with something else on it, because the material from here and again from Poddygill, which is you'll see later, is every piece has to be tested really to decide whether it's wolfenite or stolzite. That's the end of that part. Now I just have to do a quick change around now, so just bear with me a minute. Talk amongst yourselves while I find where I am. Where are we? That's part 2. Where have you gone? There you are. Right, slideshow from beginning. Oh, that wasn't too bad. So the next one is Armagrain. Are you back?
We can't see your screen at the moment.
You can't see that. Okay, I've done it wrong. I've done it wrong. I'll come out again. Right, let's just go in and share again then. I can't get myself in. I can't. Right. Okay. Share screen again. It should be. I think that one.
Yep, that's looking better.
That's the trouble when you have to stop and from beginning. Come on. Work. Right. Are we there?
Yes.
Can you see that? Yeah. So there's a little tiny, this bit going up here is a place called Armagrain, and it was just a small exposure on the side of a hill where the vein ran through. It's a quartz vein runs through it, and one half of the quartz vein above it carried some secondary lead minerals in it, and and the bottom half was all quartz, and that very iron stained quartz. And we dug on that for 2 or 3 different visits. They never really changed much. This was 1983, the very first BMS trip up to Cumbria. And you got Roy Starkey and Mary are up here on the right. I can see 1 or 2 people on here. I think this is Mike Leppington, Doug Morgan, and there's a party of about, I don't know, there must have been about 20 odd of us. And we started on Armagrain, and we went around the hillside to Brandy Gill and then down to Poddy Gill. This is up on Armagrain, looking back down again. This is in 2005. We'd been over the top and we came back down from Birdle Gill and down this way. And we didn't find an awful lot on this trip. But you can see it's a fair way up and down. This was the 87 collection. This is Bob and Mike Jackson. This is the hole we dug out this day. We did fill it in afterwards. But if you see his trousers, that's part of another story on that for 4 weeks' time, whenever it is, 6 weeks' time. But I'll explain that a bit more later, maybe. From there, we get the very small, I've put this as apatite. I'm still not sure if it is or not, but they seem very cubic. But I don't know. It may be a coating or something. But the main thing from here is the little Micromount, black Micromount crystals. Pyromorphite or mimetite, not sure which. Again, and then these little flakes, and they're all pretty much micro, little pyrolusite spray, and a pharmacosiderite. And Carrock Mine itself is right in the middle of the complex, and this is the Emerson vein running up, and this area to the right of this is where we collected. In the, well, I think 87, there were still some buildings on there. You'll see when we get there in a minute. This was the 95, so that hadn't changed an awful lot. But this was in 79 when I was up there in 79, and some Canadian company were mining it for wolfram, and they let you go on and collect on the dumps, and there was no problem at all. And I was standing up here on the behind these. And the entrance to the mine is just over here somewhere. And the little tiny train come chugging out. And one of the guys on the truck said, "You collecting minerals, boy?" So I said, "Yes." And he gave me this lump of wolframite. And you'll see the picture in a minute of it. That was looking in 87, looking back down. That just, I mean, from 79 to 87, this lot had stopped working. And but in 87, we managed to get in the underground. We took Bob in for his first underground trip. This is some of the wooden chutes underground, just a couple of them, and that's the back of the load. That's as far as the adit went in. But this area here is where the main adit into that vein went in, and where we went in. You can see it's been filled in, and there's no chance now. The air to this side was bad, and the air to that side was okay. But they've cleared the buildings away, and this area where, I don't know if I stick down there, but this area around here is where you've got things like apatite and aragonite. I shot this one last week. This is only a micro, but you can see the size of it. It's the field of view is 3 millimeters, depth of field is about 1.8 and the 36 images with a ×10 lens. So it's not very big, but it come up quite nice, I thought. And this is this piece. You can see all these bruises on it, as well. I've been trying to break this up over the years to try and get that little crystal there out. I give up in the end and said, right, if you don't want to come out, you can stay in. So that's that little crystal, but it's apatite from Carrock Mine. There's one of the aragonites, and a close up of that. Underground, we collected out of the vein, and it comes out as a solid mass of arsenopyrite and calcite. I've burnt all the calcite off to reveal the arsenopyrite, and it's got this mica, some sort of, I think it might be gilbertite mica all over it, and the quartz and the arsenopyrite. But that's very nice, quite nice pieces. There's methanite and dolomite, Richard Bell specimen. That's one I bought back in the early days of cosalite from there. A fluorite, really strange, multiformed specimen, Richard Bell's, and he found gold.
I didn't find gold.
Pardon?
I didn't find gold. It fell off a bigger piece.
Oh right, okay. And I've not heard of this one, but it's in the list of stuff from their Geology anyway. So it's some sort of mica, I guess. I don't know.
No, it's a sulfide.
Yeah. Molybdenite. That's fairly common on some of the stuff. Pyrite. That's a nice specimen for pyrite from there. The main quartz is one of the main things. The veins are all quartz veins, so I put one of those in, and then that's a stalzite. Has that been tested? That one, Richard?
No, but it's very characteristic.
Yeah. That's the wolframite that I was given by the miner when they on the train. That's about maybe 3 inches across. Quite a nice piece with the veins running through. Right, Poddy-Gill is the next one. It's this little tiny thing going up here is Poddy-Gill, and it's mainly just a little exposure of the stream runs down, and it's crossed. The vein that comes through this way has crossed it, and at the point where you can actually get up to it, and is this little bit just here, and again. This is the German group, and I was in the car. I couldn't get up this time, so I had a knee operation. So I was trying to direct them from the car with waving arms. And this guy here is starting to go up, and he's going way past it. But this is the actual area you need to get into, because the water comes down from up here, and when it reaches this point, there's like a little dam, and it holds it back a bit, and you can scrape away at the bank, and you can see the quartz vein. And in that, you get the pyromorphite with the stalzite stroke wolfenite. And that's just looking back down the valley. This is them lot up there collecting on the exposure. This was us back in 1990 up on, this is the stream. And you just dig away in the bank, just divert the stream slightly so you can get to the rock. And yeah, you sometimes have a good, not every time, but quite occasionally you do find some good material. And that's in the green area. This is a pyromorphite from there. I think these brown things it's either mud or there's some wolfenite stalzites mixed in with it as well. But this specimen, I took Kevin Johns up there in 1990. We had a few days up there with our respective wives, and we did this location. I walked across from Carrock to the dump. I bent down, picked this bit of rock up, and gave it to Kevin. Said, "This is what we're looking for. So you can have that." And we never found a thing that day, anything different. The only specimen we found was this one. And then, so he kept it until he packed up minerals in 2004. And I said to him when he finished, "Okay, I want my specimen back, please." And that's now in my collection again. So, but again, you got the wolfenites, stalzites all running all the way through it. Lovely rich specimen. Stalzite from Richard. That's one of mine. I don't know what it is. I assume it's wolfenite, but you just don't know. Another one of Richard's. But there again, you got stuff on the side of this.
They're stalzites.
They're stalzites, Ali. Yeah.
Yeah.
We're getting towards the end of nearly now. Birdle, as you stand on this point here and look down this way, there's two little gills run up. This one is wet swine gill, which is the antimony vein, and you're banned from collecting. And this is Birdle gill, where you can go up. And at the top of about where this intersection here is, there's a little bit of an outcrop, I think there was a mine up there originally, but it's all, there's no sign of it now up there, but there is rock about where you can get stuff. And the problem is getting to it. So you go through this jungle of fern and bracken to start off with, and you start to climb up the hill, and then it gets a bit steeper, and then the people get further away, and you're gradually climbing higher and higher and higher, and you get up to the pathway here, going back round over the top to Wet Swine Gill. So when you get to the top of this little lot, there's this exposure here where there's iron stained rocks, where you get lumps of material containing pharmacosiderite and other bits and pieces. This one I photographed the other day. I think this is Budentite, little tiny, almost half by pyramids. But I was not sure about this one. I asked Richard and what he thought. We thought that could be Budentite, Carmenite. The girthite from the main ore up there is the iron girthite, and then the mineral pharmacosiderite is quite nice. Then there's this Wet Swine Gill. Now that one was just a very thin crack. It was about a 2-inch wide crack, and it went back into the rock about 2 or 3 meters, and that was dug out back in the early 1990s. And before they banned us from going up there, I went up there with my friend Martin Gale one day, and we climbed up this slope here at Coombe Height, and found a track which come around, and it came right into Wet Swine Gill, right on where the thing was. And we looked, and there was no collecting. You couldn't get into the crack to collect anything. So I brought a few bits and pieces of rock back from the bushes, lumps of quartz, and brought them home and broke them up. And inside them, this is looking back from the Carrock where you park, and then this is Wet Swine Gill going up here, and that one is Birdle Gill going up to the back up there. So from there I got this arsenopyrite. They've changed the name on this one now. When I got it, it was called claudetite. I think it's now called antimonium claudetite or something like that. It's been through several different names, and they keep changing the names of it. But it's an antimony vein, and you got Jamestownite. This, I don't know what this is. I put it down as mica, but it's something. It's an epimorph of something or other. That I put as scarred out, but I'm looking at it again. I'm not sure if it is. Then this is the Synarmontites, which are famous from there. These little tiny bipyramids. Another one there. Richard's. That's mine. That's a stibnite. I think that's stibnite from there. It's so hard to tell these apart. Little crystal of sulfur. And then I don't know. That might be Budentite again. Don't really know. Right, around the edge now, we're going back out. So you're back out around the edge of the thing, back out to Millsdown, just along this little track. And this area here, they've put a red ban on that one, so you can't collect on it. But all it is really a very, very small area of 2 or 3 little dumps on. And why this bit here is, I don't know. But they're gone on either side of the road. Richard and myself were up there about a couple of weeks ago, and there's nothing to see why this is red for. But looking over to the dumps, these are the dumps as you walk across. You park your cars and walk across, and there's 2 or 3 adults. There's one, I think there's 2 or 3 adults along this line, and just little small dumps, nothing much on them. A little bit of colour showing, not an awful lot. No collecting. That was one of the adits going in. When I was there earlier on, back in the 80s, I picked a few pieces up before it was banned, and some very nice malachite. Chrysocolla. That I think is pyrite, or it's something very similar. It might be pyrite which has changed to something else. And that one I put as apatite, but it's probably just it's pyrite all round it. So, but it looks a bit different to the pyrite, so not really sure. Now I think this is the last one. Again, this is the Holtcliffe smelter. It's on the Carrock Beck, and Holtcliffe Farmers up here, or Holtcliffe House. So why they call it Holtcliffe, I don't know, but I always called it Carrock Beck because it's on Carrock Beck. And when I was first told of the place back in the late 1980s, and I went in there and I just picked around on these little areas where the slag is on the surface. And we went back as a group in, I think about 1990, and we dug one of these, I don't know, as this one or this one, but we dug down about nearly over a metre till we reached the bottom of the ore hearth. And we had a big pile of, and the material that came out, that was fantastic. This was photographed, I think, 2018. Yeah, probably 2018, I think. I photographed these. Just a general shot. Two or three pictures of it. Brockentite, linerite on caledonite. Horrible picture, but I left it in just for the combination of colour. Richard's chenite, cuprite, and again, what we're all looking for, elite, in two or three pieces, and the langite, Roughton thalite, which is on serpurite, linerite, serpurite, and rowolfite. And then I put a list on of the minerals that are on Mindat, supposedly from there. Some of them I think you can take with a pinch of salt. All the ones that have got the cameras on have been photographed, so they are okay. Some have been crossed out. This one, Lindgrenite, was crossed out because Kingsbury put that on his reports, and that's since been proved that it came from somewhere over in Chile, I think, or in South America. So that was they've taken some of these out. There's about 4 pages of this if you want to see them on when it goes online. And there's the red gillite type locality, Silver Gill. And so there it is, 224 valid minerals, 1 type locality. And these are the 2 books that I used. And I've got them. This is the one that was done by Mick Cooper and Chris Stanley. It's probably the best one ever produced on the area. Very comprehensive, covered a lot. And this is the one that started me off on the collecting up there. I went up there in 1976 for a summer holiday. My daughter was 6 years old. We had 2 weeks in September, and I went into the bookshop in Keswick and found this book. And I bought it. It was £5.50. And I started to read it, and I went into the Grove House Gallery rock shop, and I bought all the maps of all the Ordnance Survey maps. And from this book and the maps, I managed to get 14 days holiday collecting in all those places at least twice during my 2 weeks up there. And my 6-year-old daughter absolutely loved it. So that's what started me off. And I think that's probably end of part 1. Not bad. Many thanks to Richard for the photographs and some in your comments. That's it. End of part 1.
Excellent. Thank you, Martin.
If you can put up with the next lot, I'll do that is it 6 weeks' time now, is it?
Yeah. So
that's good. That'll be about right by then.
The 24th for you guys, I think.
That's about a 50-minute ramble around the Caldbecks. Quite interesting.
It is.
I mean, you can still walk. You can still walk over the place. You just can't collect on it most of the time.
Yeah, I was over there 2000-ish.
Yeah.
My parents lived in Cumbria at that time, and my mother was really sick, and I travelled over to see her. And just after she passed away, my dad had a big red button on telephone to press, and the nurse that came around, as happens, you get talking. Her husband was a member of, I think they call themselves the Moles.
Moles,
Moles, yeah.
Of Lakeland
Yeah.
Exploration Society.
yeah.
And her husband actually took me out on a couple of trips, and I went underground in the Elizabethan workings at Silver Gill, which is really good.
All right.
That's a coffin shape.
I think even if you don't collect, the Caldbeck Fells is a place to go and walk around, because it's not really hard walking. It's some of it's quite. I mean, I think the highest is about just over 2,000 feet, or about 700 meters. There's nothing very high. They're fairly gentle. Well, they were gentle 20 years ago. They're probably a bit more steeper now, but Richard Belson and myself, we were invited onto the committee which actually got the permission back to collect, because the Lake District people wanted to shut it down totally, and they didn't want anyone collecting on there at all. And we thought, I think that took us about 8 years, or no, 6 or 7 years of us going up there, normally in the winter, to meetings, and we gradually managed to swing them round, so we got permission to collect on there again. And for that, we got actually slated by the mineral fraternity of some people in Britain. We were called all sorts of traitors and all sorts of things, but we got permission back to go and at least to collect somewhere on the Caldbecks.
The other one that I remember is I went up to not just Silver Gill, but Red Gill, and then down to Roughton Gill. And we went past an area that was called Thief Gill.
Thief Gills. Thief
Gill, on the one side of the gill, there was a lot of loose rock, and it was just totally green with pyromorphite.
Oh yeah. The area is. I mean, the main Roughton Gill dumps are well picked over. You can go and. I mean, you could up until they banned it, go and sit on the dumps and just a little bit of scratching around, find some really nice micro, especially for a micro collector. But I think the reason they banned us from collecting on there, somewhere underground there's a like our original 19th century water pump, and I mean it's all rusted and rotted away now. But they've banned the archaeology people banned us from put the ban in place with the LDNPA, and just banned us all from collecting up there. So it's one of those things that happens. It's worldwide now, but the sounds of it, I keep hearing different places have got bans on, and you can't go there and can't go there. So I don't know. I pity any future generations coming into the mineralogy. The fun that I've had and we've all had since we've been doing this, and it's coming up nearly 50 years I've been doing it now. I think Dick's a little bit longer than me, but it's not going to happen anymore. You just can't go anywhere. Fortunately, my garage has still got a lot of stuff in it.
The other one that I remember in 1994, I think, I moved to Australia in 74, so I'd been here 20 odd years and I hadn't been back at all. But my family still lived over in England. Yeah. And we had about 3 or 4 days in Cumbria as part of the holiday. And I remember, I think it was April, my mother and I were at the Carrock mine where that bit of a wall is. And we were down behind the wall sheltering from a blizzard that was coming through.
That's about normal, that is. That's Cumbrian weather. That's Cumbrian summer, that is.
Good times, though.
Yeah, really
good times. Oh, we've tramped all over it, up and down, round it, over the top of it. In fact, in
several times.
In 2005, when we did the Birdle Gill trip, we went up Birdle Gill, out on the top on the Great Lingy Hill, and walked across the top of the hill to come down into Armagrain. And as I got to the top of the hill, my phone rang, and that was my wife ringing me to tell me our house had been sold.
That's right.
I was living over in this place then, and remember that, Dick?
Yep, I remember it.
And the woman had put a bid in, an offer in, and would I accept it? So I said, yes, tell her yes.
And we had a drink on that, didn't we?
Get a drink
That
on
night.
that, yeah.
Yeah.
Then we walked down
Or
Armagrain
two.
and across onto Poddy Gill, and that was a nice day's round trip. I don't think I could do it now.
No.
Is Mike Leppington still around?
He's still alive, yeah. He's not too clever.
Just.
I don't think he goes out much now, if at all. I think the last two or three symposiums ago, he was not very well at all. So he used to come up and stay with Peter Harrison in Leicester. But I think Peter died 3 years ago. And I don't know where. I think Mike's son brought him up, but he came to the last one we had. But I don't know. It's got to wait and see now what's happening this year. Hopefully these restrictions coming off, they're going to have a symposium. So
yes, he was in Keswick.
He's at Cockermouth. He is.
Oh, Cockermouth. That's right. Cockermouth.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. I did visit him that one time I was over there. So.
Well, my next talk will be all the bits and pieces out around the rest of the sort of Cumbria. That'll be roughly the same length. I got to do a few more photographs of minerals. I haven't got very many mineral pictures, but I've got some nice series of underground shots of Small Clough Mine, which Robbie Selly did for when we were in a trip in there back in the 2006 time, and we went right into the collecting chamber in Small Clough, and Robbie photographed all the way through, and there's some actually stunning shots of the underground brickwork of the underground tunnels.
Will you be going?
So I'm going to go out as far as Cumbria stretches just the other side of Ulston. So you got Nenthead comes into Cumbria, so I'm going to put in Small Clough, Tyne Mine, and then down as far as Florence and maybe Hale Moor, and just that'd be about another 3/4 of an hour, I would think. So.
Would you be going down the Newlands Valley as well?
No. I'm doing Force Crag. I'm doing Force Crag, Stonycroft smelter in that area, and I'm doing the side of Cat Bells because there's a really nice couple of mines along the side of there where you can get stuff from. Yeah, so I mean Burradale. I haven't done. I've only done the places that I've actually been to. I'm not putting in nowhere that I haven't been to collect. So all the places I've shown on there, I've been to them all and collected from them all. So
that was another place that I got taken, and I think the Gold Scope mine.
Yeah, Gold Scope.
There used to be.
I was going to go there when I was up there last week, but I actually went to Stonycroft smelter, and I can find a picture. I can find just shit. No, I'll do it another time. I don't know. I'll put it in the next talk. I'll be in the next bit.
So the Gold Scope had I went underground there as well, and there's a big cavern where there used to be a big waterway, and there's chalcanthite all the way down the one side of that.
Yeah, but if you go up from where Gold Scope is on the side of Maiden Moor and look back down along towards Cat Bells, you'll see the big scar along the hillside where old Brandley mine or Brandleham mine comes down, and it runs down from the top of Cat Bells down virtually to the road and then down to the river. And I was up there with Martin Gale in the Foot and Mouth year 2001, and we couldn't get anywhere particularly to go and collect because everything was blocked off. But this particular path, the Highways Agency and the environment people had got this yellow tape along all the tracks and along all the roads, so you couldn't actually stray off the roadway. But the actual old miners' path along the side of Cat Bells and Maiden Moor was still open, so we went up and did a walk up along the miners' track, and we got to the old Brandley mine, and we just went straight up the side of the hill, and we were picking up bits of pyromorphite and fluorite all the way up. And I'd never seen pyromorphite from there before, and I've not heard of it much since, but I've got one or two nice pieces.
Sounds good.
Very interesting.
All right, well, definitely look forward to part 2. That'll be good. Okay. Any other questions of Martin?
Nice.
Yes, I
Lovely.
have one. Sorry.
Great talk.
Thank you. I'm afraid I do ramble a bit, unfortunately. My brain goes too fast for my tongue.
No, you're all right.
It was nice,
Very good.
Martin. Very
We've had
nice.
it for years, haven't we, Sheila?
Yeah, had it for years.
Never go in a car with Martin Stolworthy if he's driving, because you get a full-on 24/7 commentary. And it's
mean-
quite enlightening.
Not my fault the drivers are all rubbish in England.
Except for me. Come on. I'm
You
sitting
might
here.
even learn a few more words. I have.
The
Are
one
you
thing,
saying that I curse and swear? I don't
Yes.
do that. Oh, right.
Not much.
the one thing I've learned is that Hallamannins has got Caledonite, and I've never
Yes.
thought about it really, and I'm gonna have to find some of my own. But it's actually a record on Mindat.
That's probably in your
Angry.
garage. That's probably in a little bag somewhere in your garage.
No, it's not. Yeah, it could be. Yeah, and greystones. But I don't know. I don't know who collected them. But that's a bit of a challenge.
That's
'Cause that's
probably
beautiful.
Danul, I reckon. Mr.
Yeah,
Danul.
you're. Oh God. Oh well. Oh, that's put the hat on that then. But it's-
Mr. Elio
yeah.
specialist.
Yeah, your Caledonite's lovely. Yeah, they're lovely. They are. And
Yeah.
Richard Bell's and everybody's. Yeah, lovely. Nice pictures. Yeah.
Yeah, I
Good.
try and get them as big as I mean. I don't like putting too small a picture on. I try and, if you've got to show a picture, show the full picture. I think if you can get it on. So that's quite. I do try and make them as big as I can get them, but without losing too much definition on them. Yeah, I'm glad you liked it anyway. You never know what people are gonna like on these talks, do you?
That's good.
Yeah.
Good. I'm glad you enjoyed it.
Another question, if I may.
Yeah.
You showed us a lot of mimetites, and these rounded ones are often called campylite. But
Yeah.
you didn't do that, so when do you
Not
call
normally
it
the-
campylite?
Normally the campylite was only called the ones from Dry Gill.
Okay.
That was a special one. That was the ones from Dry Gill were called campylite, variety mimetite.
But
But
why?
they have turned
What's-
up
what's
other
the-
places.
What's the difference between campylite and normal mimetite? then?
Nothing.
It's just
the
the,
crystal,
just the habit.
crystal barrel shape.
Oh, that's,
Right.
okay.
Just the barrel shape and the brown colour.
Yeah, okay. But
Yeah.
there's no further reason for that.
No. it's
Have you
just
got any,
mimetite.
Hank? Have you got any campylite?
Yeah.
You have,
I got-
okay.
I got mimetites which are listed as campylite. Yeah.
If not, I'll send you a piece. I've got plenty of it.
If it's from Dry Gill, it's campylite. Elsewhere, it's just
Yeah.
mimetite.
There's no apparent reason for that.
It's just
No.
another varietal name.
Okay.
Habit.
The varietal name. Yeah.
Okay.
Funny habits.
Well, it's you can actually see that when you look at it under the scope, you can see the crystals are all being drawn in together. It's some very weird formation. What caused it? I have no idea.
I have another one. You told us that collecting there is still possible, huh? It's still allowed also. But when I'm just a budding tourist, do I get lost there, or do I need a guide?
Thus, you walk.
Yeah, you walk and get lost. You get lost then, no? You don't?
If ever you get across the one again and want to go collecting in the Lake District, we'll try and organise some permits for you.
I'll give you a call.
Yeah, I might need a wheelchair to get up to the places, but I'll give you.
Yeah, sure. Okay.
Can you organise the helicopter to lift me and Dick up with you?
Sorry?
Get the helicopter so we can drop us in.
Yeah, sure. Okay.
All right, nothing
Okay.
else?
That's good.
See you all in a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you, Martin.
There's nothing now. There's nothing 4 weeks today, Steve.
Sorry?
There's nothing on that 4 weeks today meeting. It's
No.
been cancelled. Yeah.
I'll
Okay,
change.
fine.
I'll change it. And
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
Right.
thank you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you, guys. Nice to
Yeah.
see you all.
Okay.
So,
All right.
I'll be in touch, Martin.
Okay, Dick. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Cheers.
There we go.